They have a countdown now.
I love that.
They have a countdown. All right. So we have
We're
that.
back.
This
We're
event.
back.
Yes.
A
Which is
little bit of a glitchy glitch, and I might have to turn my freaking light off. 1 second.
that
Hold on.
like it's
That's
really
supposed to break. There we go.
there. All right,
That's
that looks
better.
all right, that looks a little better. Yeah. So
Okay, so we had headphone malfunction,
yeah.
and now
But
and
it's
then laptop glitch.
lot yeah.
Top of
All
that.
right.
But I mean, it wouldn't be Films and Fandoms if we didn't have
Yes,
technical difficulties.
that is true. That
Like
is no, that is true.
real.
That is, yeah.
Oh.
All right. So
Anyway,
yes. So so
we're back.
today, yes, and we're going to be starting season 3 of Leverage, our favorite season. I'm so excited.
That
We're
has
gonna,
some of my favorite episodes in it. Just
yes, I can't
so
wait
you
to
know,
get into them, especially a studio job because that one's going to be so much fun.
I'm going to geek out. Just fair warning.
I know, I'm so excited, but
Um,
to get
but
to this
this one, I think it's a dramatic start to the season, which I love.
very so yeah, so we're talking Leverage season 3, episode 1, the Jailhouse Job. So before we get to this episode, just real quick, I'd like to thank our parent company, nefco.org. And if you want to support the podcast, you can find us on Kofa at Films and Fandoms. If you also scan the QR code that is on the screen, you will see a or you'll get a link to donate to Kofa. And I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Should have had that set up sooner. That is my bad.
Hey, it's been a little bit of a glitchy start. It's fine.
It's been
It
yes.
happens.
All
Glitches
right.
happen. It's okay.
That is true. So yeah, if you want to support the podcast, go buy us a coffee on Ko-Fi. We will greatly appreciate it because it's not easy running this. So yeah, I do appreciate it. So
And I am drinking actually simply squeezed apple juice for tonight's
I have
podcast. It's,
now.
it's apple juice. It's
Yeah.
literally apple juice. It's not the other stuff. It's not the adult beverage
uh,
that Jensen calls apple juice. It's legit apple juice.
I love that bit. That's the GymCon
Yep.
where they do
Give me some apple juice.
the apple juice.
Apple juice. But yeah, all right, let's get into this
Yes.
crazy episode. And
So it
is
is because well,
in a good
so
way.
yeah. So the summary for this episode, after Nate to prison to save the team are now trying to bust him out. However, Nate discovers an inmate that got set up in prison. In the prison. He is incarcerated. So the team helping to take down a corrupt warden, all while still trying to bust Nate out of prison. So director for this episode is the one, the only, our good buddy and pal, Mr. Dean Devlin. Writers for this episode: John Rogers, Chris Downey, John Abode, Kristen Boylan, Melissa Glenn, and Jessica Reeder. So we kind of have a little bit of everybody on this episode.
Yeah,
On the right.
but all of like the good ones that like when they team up, it's gonna be an epic episode.
Yes. And we start out with kind of a bang because immediately in the
Literally.
shot is like a reintroduction of everybody
Yeah.
walking through like a going through like a breakout of a courthouse. So they're all at a courthouse. Sophie, I think, is pretending to be a lawyer.
Yep.
It is outside on security watch just as a construction worker. Hardison's inside as a janitor, and Park is, of course, in the elevator shaft, asleep.
Of course. Where else would she be?
Because, of course, she's a freaking bat and sleeps better upside down.
But I will say, seeing Christian dressed up as a construction worker was kind of cute. He actually brought back that costume. They brought that back for like 2 episodes of Redemption. I remember.
Yes.
It was brief. It was a brief like construction worker outfit, and I love it. I love this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hardison stops the elevator so Parker can get to the elevator. They're gonna bring Nate in because he's being escorted out at the courthouse, and Sophie, with Hardison's assistance, swipes a phone. So Nate, of course, spots Sophie as he's leaving the courtroom. They go in the elevator. Parker takes out the guards, escorted Nate with the taser.
Of course, the
Because
fucking taser.
that's her thing now, is the taser.
At least she's not stabbing anyone.
Yeah, which is apparently she makes the.
But I will say the taser is worse. Whose idea was it to give Parker a taser? That girl's 20 pounds of crazy.
It's a 5-pound bag. Yeah, so continuing on. So Hardison, he leaves, setting off car alarms, and Elliot covers her exit by taking out security or FBI agents. Sorry, FBI agents. And then car pulls up with Sophie driving, and Nate just flat out says no. They're all like, "What do you mean no?" Q2. This whole thing was just a fake out. Turns out Nate has been incarcerated in Rockford private correctional facility where so Sophie's on the phone talking with Nate through the glass.
And it was kind of like, hey, he was like daydreaming a little bit.
Well, I think that was Nate like visualizing because Sophie was talking about this like plan on how to break him out because like no, like it's not gonna work. And honestly, I do actually genuinely feel bad for Sophie because as somebody who's kind of been in that situation, only being able to talk with someone through a phone and not being able to touch them or put them really put them through proof glass.
And you can kind of see it on her face a little bit of, I hate this. I hate that you're in here because it was our fault.
Yeah, well,
As
and
a
they all
whole, we fucked up.
like, cause yeah, and now like Nate's in prison, and now they like are trying to figure out how to get him out. Oh my god, what am I on? No, yeah, so. But I do kind of find it funny as of it's like, you gotta admit it would be more dramatically satisfying if I'm the one driving the getaway car. Which, to be fair, she's not entirely wrong. But
I mean, I love that's where her mind goes.
she's like, Nick, come on, like it's gonna be more satisfying if I'm the one driving the getaway car. In a getaway car, and we never get far. Don't pretend it's such a mystery. Think about the place where you first met me. Yeah, in a getaway car. Sorry. It's too easy. It's too easy. I'm sorry. It's too easy. All right, I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Yeah, Nate's basically like, nope, not gonna do it. And then back at Nate's apartment, Hardison of course, then Nate's like, should we really be talking about this over like monitored phone calls? And then Sophie shows him her phone, which is plugged into or her mobile phone is connected to the prison phone. And then back at Nate's apartment, Hardison explains that like he's basically dumping another phone conversation into the recording system.
Yeah.
So
So
that way,
basically she wiretapped into the recording system, so it's playing something completely different. They can see
but
the video of them. That's real, but the audio is not.
and what's funny though is what they use is from a Spanish telenovela. And Hardison Elliot that walks in is like Spanish op, like really?
Finish
Uh,
it up, really?
check it out. Like check it out. So Pepe's twin Pepe is Guadalupe's baby daddy.
I want to know if I know there probably is somewhere in the archives a blooper reel of Christian just going, really? And just busting out laughing. Because that's just stupid and hilarious at the same time.
It was,
Because if it was me,
I
if
think,
it was me, I would be giggling my ass off. I would be laughing so hard I'd be on the floor.
yes. Hold on, I think I have.
That's
I
too
wrote
funny.
this, like, yeah, I wrote a scene like that in my own story. Well, not like that. I used that, I should say, for uh one of my fics or it was actually this chapter when I wrote it for the Hitters Girl. Karen makes a comment about that, and now I'm trying to find out what I actually wrote because it's been so long.
I remember. I think it was for my my TNG fic. I wrote something like that where they did a variation of this con. But it was
Uh,
Mackenzie's husband that was behind the bars, and she was the one sitting there in the seat, and uh, Grandma Sophie was talking in her ear, and she was trying to like verbalize it, but it didn't come out like it was about or something like that. But I
my,
never ended up posting it. It was bad.
uh,
But this is so funny.
my
The
version,
audio.
yeah, in my fic,
Oh,
Karen Elliot's wife is just like, God love them telenovelas because it's so dramatic, but also it's so stupid.
I
That's
know.
why
I've tried watching them. I've tried watching a telenovela. Made about 5 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, this is stupid. Quick.
oh, of course, like Elliot kind of looks like he's into it a little bit, like the drama of it.
Of course he would be.
So,
Of course.
so to me, it's canon that Elliot is a nosy bitch.
True. Maybe he just likes drama.
You know what? I'm a nosy bitch too, and I like drama too. So,
Fair point.
but yeah, I think I actually saw there. I know I think there's a fanfic out there where Elliot ends up joining like a knitting group of just old lesbians. I swear to God, there's a fic out there where Elliot joins like a crochet knitting group.
I think I've seen that.
It's
Like,
just a bunch of old
like,
lesbians.
uh, but
It's just
that fit. But yeah, that scene of them like talking back and forth, but with the glass and everything, it made me think of the white collar episode where Neil intentionally gets caught to get his ass thrown back in jail for a little bit to catch a guy that's in the prison that's doing bad things. He was like one of the jailers or something. Can't remember what episode it was, but it was like I watched it uh, with my boyfriend. We watched it, and he had to go back to the prison to like catch this guy. But But with that one, like, I could picture something like this happening
Right?
if Neil worked with a team.
Hey, you know what? If both can be managed to get on Prime, I want that to happen.
Yes, because why the hell not? That would be awesome.
The sad thing is, I really would have liked Mozzie and Parker to meet because they're both like the conspiracy theorist type.
True.
But Willie,
And then just imagine Nate Ford and Burke meeting.
that would be hilarious.
Oh my god! And then Burke's wife and Sophie meeting.
Oh, they'd get along like a house on
Yes,
which
yes.
which would piss them both off.
No. And
Which
then
best
I
part.
and then I have a feeling Neil would try to flirt with Elliot just to fuck with him.
Okay,
I mean, come on,
hold on.
come on,
Are we sure it would be Neil Caffrey or Matt?
both. It'd be both. It'd be both. Come on. I can see it. I can totally see it. And Elliot's face would be like, "I'm sorry, you're not going that way." And then from behind him, you hear Hartson go, "Bullshit," and just walk away.
Dean Devlin, if you ever can do a white collar leverage redemption reboot, please let Matt Bond Christian K.
I want that. I want it so bad. Please give it to us. We need it. But yeah, I haven't finished White Collar yet. I need to, but I got to.
Also,
I
totally
got
not
to.
serve my OT3 agenda, but that's a
But yeah,
discussion for another time.
yeah, that. But yeah, that's what this just brought up because of the scene of those two just sitting, Bert and Caffrey just sitting across from each other and just bullshitting each other. I just immediately saw that in my head, and I'm like, that has to have happened in the Leverage universe eventually. And somehow, some way, Elliot was in the room or something, or like playing a like undercover as a guard or something, and heard him talking.
Yeah, so we should probably continue on. So Parker then walks into the apartment and they're like, and he's not gonna do it. And Parker's like, oh, but I'm willing to use my elevator ring that got me for Christmas. And Nate's like, no, like I committed a crime. I got caught. I'm gonna serve my time. So it's like, Nate, what kind of world would it be if everybody who committed a silly little crime got caught? Complete madness. And then Sophie asked if Nate got the kielbasa. And as soon as I saw kielbasa, I had a flashback.
I was like, that's probably like gonna be either a
No,
calm or a shiv or something.
well, I don't know what's in it, but there is a song called it's literally called the Egg Roll Polka. And so I for years when I would work at the radio station, that song played every freaking Sunday. Since Music Pasta, I started like playing that in my head, Rose. I played that in my head. I was like, God fucking damn it. Kielbasa. Oh, beep. What things? Yeah, they pick kielbasa to smuggle in
That's
an
funny.
earbud because that is actually what's in the kielbasa is an earbud.
Of course,
And it's
of
like,
all things.
yeah, and then once again, Nate's like, "No, do not bust me out of prison."
He's like,
And
nope, nope.
Hardison gets pissed off. He's like, "All right, look, like we're doing the job. You know, we're helping people. If you want to stay in prison because you got to figure out your guilty conscience, that's
Fine.
fine."
He gets mad, and he's really cute when he's mad.
And also,
Can't help it.
I forgot to bring this up a little bit earlier, but we see Hardison's actually like still pissed at Nate, thinking like, "No, should we even help him?" And I was like, "No, like he took the fall for us. Like you took the fall for us, Nate. Let us help you." And so yeah, Hardison hangs up on him because he's pissed off. And then Sophie goes, Nate's like, what are you doing? And Sophie's like, "Oh, like I don't use the name Sophie anymore." And it's okay, like what name do you use?
He just guesses.
Like, "You do know they record these calls, don't you?" And then she leaves. Which, to be fair, good on Sophie.
Cool and funny at the same time.
Good on Sophie. Because she has spent way too long dealing with that man's bullshit. Because
he deserved to be fucked with a little bit.
And
to be honest,
he deserved that. Okay. Like he called Sophie, couldn't even tell her he loved her, and then went and got himself arrested after kissing her.
Yep.
And essentially sacrificing himself so everyone else can get away. I too would be pissed. Yeah, so I actually really like that. Yeah, so I really like this scene that is next because we see it tonight and we see this mysterious Italian woman has asked the warden of this prison I'm where for like files on Nate. So he comes in and like gives her the files. Well, gives her, I'm assuming it's an assistant or translator. The files, and then the translator's like, we're gonna need all this other stuff because she's speaking in Italian. And she's basically threatening to be like, "You're gonna give me these files or I'm gonna expose you, and then you're gonna be under all kinds of investigation."
Yep, and she mentioned the state board of prisons and several other agencies and everything. And when you get translated, the guy's face just dropped. He goes, "Oh shit.
This is a private run facility. Like, I'm not a warden, I'm a CEO." It's basically kind of turned into a dick measuring contest.
A little bit. But at the same time, I will say that's where he's wrong. You're a prison, you have to answer to the board of prisons, whether you're privately owned or public.
Yeah. Yeah, but the point is he thinks he's above the law is the point.
Yeah.
But what I like about this scene is then like the Italian comes up, she's holding because like she lights a cigarette. And then she holds the lighter in her hand. You see the flame, and it's actually a really beautiful camera shot. Which, if I remember the commentary correctly, they did that because this was the season they got like fancy new cameras where they could shoot, and they wanted to show it off.
I know.
Which, to be fair,
boys.
Yeah, boys and their toys. But it actually was a cool shot because she's like,
it's so cool.
They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was destroyed in one. And then she blows out the lighter. I was like, to me, that's big dick energy.
It's like, I immediately went, "Okay, coffee. Put your money where your mouth is."
I mean, to be fair, she kind of does.
I know.
But this is another one of those scenes where if I hadn't realized I was queer by the time I watched that, that probably would have been my awakening. Don't judge me. I have a thing for women who can beat my ass. Don't judge me.
I mean, so does Elliot. Sorry, you set that up. You set that up.
I did.
So, but I mean, honestly, that was to me that was hot. Like that was like she was so in control of herself, so like confident. She's like,
Yeah.
just the wrong person to mess with. Basically, is what she was saying.
Also, what popped into mind was so the Taylor Swift song that's on her new album Life of a Showgirl called Father Figure. There's
Yeah.
literally a line in Father Figure where it is, you made a deal with this devil, it turns out my dick's bigger. Now that is kind of a little bit like the Italian. I love it.
True. But I love the fact that she's not afraid to kind of mentally mess with your head a little bit. And that's what that was. It was a little bit of a mind game, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Kind of scared me rewatching it. That kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, she's playing mind games. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why?
And now we meet our client / victim for this episode, Billy Epping, who is played by Edwin Hodge, who is
his little brother.
Yes, who is Aldis's brother. And what's funny is it didn't click for me when I first watched this episode until like I saw the actor's name and I saw it was his brother. Because the way Billy talks, I mean, they're brothers that grew up in the same area. Of course, they're going to sound a little bit similar. But it wasn't until this one scene where I was like, that does sound like Aldis.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of the same diction that Aldis has, a little bit, and that's what I caught rewatching it. I go, oh, the vocal tone's a little bit different. The vocal tone's a little bit more. Aldis is more higher pitched. Edwin's a little bit more deep, just a little bit more in the chest. Yeah. But the accent, as Aldis would call it, is a little bit similar, but a little bit heavier in Edwin's voice.
Yeah, which
I mean, it's still, to me, it's still kind of sexy. To be fair.
But yeah, so, and Billy, he seems like a nice guy. He's getting like Nate books, and
trying to be nice.
He's trying to be nice. Nate's like, oh, like, thank you. Like, this actually couldn't have been hard to find. Thank you. So Nate's being nice now that he's sober again. But then Nate notices though that Billy goes, I'm assuming he's like trying to drop the card off, and then some other gang members follow him, and Nate points it out to like one of the security guards, be like, hey, like I think something's about to go down.
And he goes like, and then the security warden, mind your own business, basically. He's like, don't worry about it.
When of course
he doesn't mind his own.
When has Nate ever minded his own damn business? In this case, it's good then because he saves Billy from a shanking.
But he still does get kind of stabby a little bit. But he didn't bleed out, thank God.
He does save Billy from the shanking though, and gets Billy to I think it looks like a walk-in freezer. You know what I'm talking about, right? It looks like a walk-in
and then
kitchen
to hide. And then ultimately to the infirmary.
Yeah, as we're walking, then we find out like why Billy's in the situation. He says he found a dead gang member, so now the dead gang member's buddies think he did it, even though like Billy like says he didn't do it and he does it. And then once he gets to like the walk-in closet, well, also like no one saw nothing in the camera. It was in a blind spot, so cameras didn't see nothing. But when they go to the freezer, Billy says like he was arrested to begin with because he had beer, or he had beer in the trunk of his car when he was he was driving to New Hampshire to see his girlfriend, and he brought beer in the trunk, and then he didn't even know it was illegal to, transport liquor across state lines. So they arrested him, and he didn't even have a lawyer because, they said it would just be a fine. So he pled guilty. And then all of a sudden he ended up in prison for 8 months for transporting liquor across state lines.
Yeah, and it's only like a couple $100 fine or something, I think. But because of the corruption, they upped it to him serving actual time.
Yeah,
Which
so
really pissed me off.
yeah.
That really pissed me off. I got really mad.
Yeah, and of course now Nate senses a job. So what does he do?
Hey, there's something.
Yep. So he pulls up that kielbasa, starts digging for the earbud, and of course Billy's freaking out, like, "What the actual fuck are you doing?"
I love how I can't tell if it's Billy being disgusted or if it's Edwin being disgusted of what's going on. Probably a little bit of both.
It probably both. But like Nate doesn't even clean off the earbud. Like he doesn't give it a wipe down. He just puts it straight in his ear. It's like, Nate, you gotta clean that shit off.
It's like, oh well, he's gonna get an ear infection.
Yeah, like it's gonna get all infected and nasty, boy. Like, fucking clean your earbud with like a napkin. You're in the walk-in freezer. They're towels. Freaking wipe it off.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Hardison's playing with a remote helicopter, and of course he gets pissy as soon as Nate comes out of the walk. He's like, "Nah, like we extended our hand and you slapped it away. Now go away. I'm having some me time."
I like how mad he gets. He's like, go away. We don't want you.
Which, to be fair, Hardison's also valid for that because
true.
Yeah. So, but
I like it. I kind of like that they're punishing Nate a little bit because he deserves it.
Yeah, but Nate's
he
like,
screwed up, so he's gonna rip the consequences.
Yeah, and Nate's like, look, I just need you to look into Billy's story and see what's going on here. And then Hardison does notice something, to quote Victor goddamn Sullivan, something's kind of hanky. Wait, I didn't say it exactly right, but anyways, basically, yeah. Sorry, go.
Okay, he notices that the warden is related to somebody that we've met before, and that person is Dalton Rand, the fake psychic.
It is.
He is the father of Dalton, the warden.
You mean the actor?
No, that's what it says in the IMDb. The warden is Dalton Rand's dad. There's a connection. And
so I honestly didn't look at the IMDb trivia, so I'm like confused.
I did. That's the first place I went to. And then they kind of Hardison reads that off, and there's a light bulb that goes off in Nate's head of like, we know that name. Well, shit, that's not good. And it kind of adds fuel to the fire a little bit because it was to be dealing with a warden who is the father of somebody they've already taken down.
I don't think he said the father was Dalton Rand. I think he said,
he's the father of Dalton Rand is his son.
I swear he
said, look it up.
Or some. I see that's what it says on IMDb, but yeah,
and Hardison mentions it. He goes,
yeah. And Elliot does in that briefing. We see later.
He mentions it, and I just thought that was kind of crazy. It's like, huh? But we've never had a previous job connect to our the current job that we're working,
Yeah. Well,
or like
yeah.
a character. Yeah, connect, which is really cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so anyways, Hardison checks out Billy's story and confirms everything he said is true, and he notices that the warden was also a consultant on the case. Oh, sorry,
Yep.
on the case. So, and then what's funny is Hardison's like, Nate, did you find us a job in jail?
and
Like, no, like,
and this is also on the trivia, which I thought was really cool of this episode. But Mr. Worth, who's the co-op warden, the bad warden, the bad guy, um, is based off of a real guy, actually. Fun
yeah.
fact.
I also did see that in the IMDb. Yeah.
Who is, this is cool, who was an actual Scotland Yard cop. I thought that's cool because it's a connection to Sherlock Holmes.
That is true.
Yep, aka, and it was the inspiration for his nemesis Moriarty, which I think is really, really unique that we have kind of like a little Easter egg to another show and another series, like the book
Yeah.
series of Sherlock Holmes, in this episode, which I love. And I'm a really big fan of like when shows do that. They connect to other shows or other TV series or whatever, or even books. When books do it's really interesting.
Yeah. All right. So,
Sorry, I went on a little bit of a ramble there. I just can't help.
This next scene's funny because Nate like puts his hand on Bill's shoulders, like, like it's gonna be okay. And then Nate freaking stabs Billy with the shank.
Yeah, he shivs them.
But
Billy's
Nate,
reaction. He goes, "What the hell?"
like, I'm a pass out. And it just passes.
Well, let me tell you that what I heard with the I'm a pass out. I heard Hardison. Legit,
That's
I heard his brother. I know.
like Carson. I'm a pass out.
Oh man.
I think doesn't Billy also say like that is nasty?
Yeah. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah,
No,
when he's digging through the kielbasa.
which sounds like when Hardison
It sounds like Elder when he goes, "Oh, ooh, that's nasty."
like when Hardison saw Elliot with the handcuffs and then puts in the
Yeah.
yeah, nasty.
I don't know. That's so funny. Like, oh, thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean, for getting Edwin to be part of this because we love it.
So,
And I love the fact that they have the same comedic timing. Aldous and his brother both have the same comedic timing. And it's very subtle, but
I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was just like
it might have been. But if
like
it wasn't, it's
I don't know if that was on purpose or not. If it was like a little nod to the fact that like
I think
Edwin
they kind
his
his
brother. So
brother. Yeah, I think they wanted to do that.
I feel like that might have
Maybe
been.
Dean was like, "Hey, can you kind of say it like Aldous does, please, just so we know that, like,
But
please."
I feel like that's also something Edwin would have just done naturally.
True,
Decided
probably.
to keep it. But yeah, so moving on a bit. So Hardison meets with Worth as like a financier in order to gain access to Worth's computer. And Nate has Billy in the infirmary, which is why he stabbed Billy to get him in the infirmary. So he has protection, and he sends in Elliot, who Elliot uses the alias Dr. Dr. Abernathy. And we find out where he got that alias in a later episode. Alex,
It's from a flashback scene in a later episode of
Remind you,
Sophie, and I love
it's
that episode. This was
yeah,
funny, and the person that played said character in her flashback was none other than freaking Riley Smith, CK's best friend.
see, yeah, Christian's best friend, Riley Smith.
But yeah, as soon as I heard that name again, it popped into my head, and I immediately started cackling.
He was like, "Oh, Riley."
Yep.
Okay, so so that's a little bit confusing to explain because technically Riley isn't Dr. Wes Abernathy.
He kind of played him a little bit.
It's weird because there's like that episode's a little bit weird because there's like so like in terms of like the
There's
Wes
like
there's
yeah,
like
there's multiple
because you have
flashbacks.
Elliot like from Elliot's POV, which is like the real Wes Abernathy, and then you have
Yeah.
Sophie's
So
version, which is Riley Smith,
yeah.
but he's also Elliot
Yeah.
because it's using the alias in that episode in the flashbacks.
Yep.
But you know,
But I like that alias Dr. Abernathy was used in 2 different episodes.
yeah,
Twice.
and
Yeah, that's what,
by the way, this ain't the first alias we're gonna see pop up multiple times for other
yeah.
characters. Like
True. Like Alice and Parker.
And Parker, we have Doctor Who aliases Alistair Lethbridge.
And Catherine Clive with Sophie.
Yeah, so
But yeah, that I just saw that and it just popped into my mind. Because we've seen all of these episodes at least a half a dozen times, and
yeah.
I still get giggly over it. It's hilarious. So I love it.
What's funny though about that scene to me is when Elliot, he is like sells his alias to the guards, and then he goes up to Billy Chokes and he's like, I'm gonna take care of you, all right? And then Elliot's like goes roll out, is like, you do exactly as I say, and I'm gonna make sure you get out of here, okay?
I kind of panics a little bit. The fact that Elliot can be scary when he wants to, but it's effective. But at the same time,
Like I said, look, like
why did you scare the shit out of him, Elliot? Why?
yeah, because Butch kind of nods, and then Elliot like kind of whispers to Nate, like I need to talk to you. So Nate fakes like a dental issue in order so Elliot can like take him in like a private room. And this is also funny because Elliot gets Nate inside, sets him on the reclining chair, reclines him back, puts the restraints on, shines the light in his face, and Nate's kind of looking and is like, "Those for the guards?" No, that doesn't say anything. But then he grabs the drill. And then just starts it up a few times. And Elliot's like, you know what I usually do, Nate, to people who lie to the crew to try to run a con out of the crew and nearly get people killed because they're out of control. And Nate's just looking at Elliot still. And it's like, are we okay, Elliot?
His eyes are like this big and he's like terrified. He's like, what the fuck do I do?
Nate gets startled when Elliot starts putting the chair back, and I think that was unscripted. I don't think the chair was supposed to go back. Just Christian reclining.
Oh yeah, he accidentally did. I watched the gag reel for that, and it was like, oh shit,
which worked because
it worked.
It works because
so the fear we see on Nate's face, that's not Nate in that moment.
No, that's
it's Timothy Hutton be actively shitting his pants in fear of falling backwards.
It's like, are we okay, Elliot?
I love that.
Elliot
I love it.
sets it down, plugs a USB into the keyboard because for some reason in this office there's a keyboard that has the USB drives in the keyboard.
That's weird.
It is a little weird, I ain't gonna lie. But I'm proud of Elliot because he plugs in the USB.
He knew how to use the computer.
He knew how to use a computer, which also shows like it's like that subtle shows the growth just in like the time Nate's been in prison.
Yeah.
That Elliot's actually like
I was kind of happy. Honestly, I was kind of half expecting Elliot to go Leroy Jethro Gibbs on the computer keyboard and just break it.
yeah, so
That's
Elliot
what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting, and then just to see him click it and have it come up on the screen, I'm like,
yeah, so
what?
it's actually Elliot kind of doing the briefing this episode because he starts explaining, Adam Worth. He's old money politics as his daddy was a governor, uncle was a district attorney, uh, attorney general, sorry, and his brother is the congressman. Well, apparently Worth tried getting into politics, but failed miserably. And so Nate comes up with this kind of two-part plan. First is figure out what scam Worth is running and put an end to it. And then the other one's getting Billy and him out of prison. But now it tells Nate again, like, hey, like the prison's escape proof. But then it's like, does Parker have any ideas? And Elliot's like, yeah, like Parker's working a judge. And then he like is about to say Sophie's name, but then he stops, then says Sophie. And Nate's immediately picked it up like, hey, what was that?
Nothing.
I know it's at nothing. It's like little pause there, and it's gives in like, okay, Sophie told us her real name, but we're not allowed to use it around you. And then we see Sophie and Parker faking an argument in order to lift stuff off the judge to get into his chambers. And what's funny is to have like a mini competition because Sophie pulls up like key card and checkbook, and Parker's like appointment book and keys, and she holds the keys like this is the safety deposit box key.
And I like how Sophie's just like, I'm impressed.
Okay, safety deposit box. So she sits at his desk while Parker's, of course, going through files. And Sophie makes a phone call pretending to be the judge's wife, asking about the safety deposit box so she can get more information about it. And Parker finds files on the inmates, including Billy. Yeah, so at Nate's apartment, we kind of get the rundown on the scam. So basically, Hardison reveals that the judge got a safety deposit box 2 years ago, along with other judges. And he thinks Wentworth gets an inmate in his prison. He sends an email, which he suspects is to an Cayman Islands bank account. And Hardison reveals that since Rockford is a private prison, they can't dip below 70% occupancy, like the hotel business, or they lose their state funding. And all this started happening 2 years prior, which is when they nearly lost their state funding. So basically, we're just trying to keep his money, and because he didn't have enough hard cases to throw in prison, he decided to bribe a couple of judges in order to get them to send him nonviolent offenders that were like easily managed. And of course, Parker's like, why? And this is when Elliot walks in, takes off his glasses, like because like they're honest middle class citizens, and they
And
want
to be honest with you, I was kind of sad when the glasses came off
yeah,
on
it
Elliot.
makes like town. Well, also knowing like how Elliot grew up, he probably grew up, he grew up middle class. And yeah, I'd say you grow up middle class, in rural Oklahoma, probably where everyone knew everybody. And he
I
probably
think that
well,
I think that that part kind of rubbed Elliot the wrong way a little bit. Like you could see it in the way that he was acting. But I will say when Christian took those glasses off, I was like, oh no,
yeah, like
Dad, I wanted the glasses to stay on.
being like serious,
Let's
but
cute with them on,
also
right?
just yeah, yeah. Yeah, this also like it makes sense why it would hit Elliot harder because like, he grew up in a class. He probably has had people he knew growing up who got sent to prison for something that like he like something like I not stupid or like something that he
Probably did something bad and like that could have been avoided, basically.
like
Just based on off of his reaction, it was probably a really close childhood friend, maybe.
maybe
That's my guess.
I'm thinking something like they stole like something from a store so that like
Like maybe they stole something from like his dad's general store or something,
or like
and then
like
that
food. Usually in
yeah,
that case
something
it's like
like that,
food,
something
where
stupid,
it's like
yeah,
a little bit of
or
food, but
stole something from like a family farm or something like that.
or yeah, or like I personally think it was like food so that way they didn't have to choose between getting groceries or paying the light bill or
Yeah,
paying the heat type of situation because like if you're middle class and like you live paycheck to paycheck like
he had to
one
choose one or
fucked up
the other.
paycheck and it's like
Do we eat this month or do we have
high
electricity?
and unfortunately that is the case for a lot of people, especially middle class citizens. So and those unfortunately are the people that are often punished because they didn't steal to be malicious. They stole so that
It's
they
a fight for survival, basically, and that's just the society that we live in.
and those are the people that Worth is targeting
Yep.
because all these people are like, like I know I
Which
didn't
makes me hate it a little more.
yeah.
It's like, why?
Like in Billy's case, he wasn't being malicious. He was just wanting to spend time with his girlfriend up in New Hampshire and just brought a little beer along to like have a good time.
Yep. Now, what he should have done is bought it there when he got there.
Yeah, but like you said, he didn't even know that was illegal.
Yeah.
Like it's like stupid stuff like that, and those are the people where this target, which is what makes all this worse because it's those people who like can't fight it.
Yep.
But it's also the way Elliot says that makes me think it's like personal. But kind of moving on a bit. So Nate's kind of figured out a plan already. So Sophie hooks Worth on this idea that she can make him a United States senator.
Well,
And
that's
so
just a
she
bad
thinks,
idea.
yeah. And I like Sophie, she has like this trench coat deal going on, but uh I'm assuming she has like a skirt, but you don't really see the skirt and you can see her legs.
And let me
Which
just say, the outfit that she's wearing is kind of cute. I like it.
it is. But yeah, so she gets basically Worth hooked on the idea that she can make a United States senator because she's being like a campaign manager, saying that she's looking for a new candidate. As the last candidate, she got sent photos of him in a compromising position, which of course they Parker played like the blonde bimbo he got caught with.
That's funny.
Yeah, and that seems funny because you have like a flashback to them setting that up. And Sophie's trying to draw Parker. She's like, I didn't teach her that. And then she has on like a beret. And Harson's taking the pictures. And Parker just like takes off her whole top. And Sophie's like, Parker! And I was like, oh,
I
I,
like how he like turns away.
I ain't seen none.
Yep, he's like, nope, nope, I'm not looking. Nope.
And nope, I ain't getting tased. I ain't looking.
More like it. I think it was like, I'm not gonna look because I know Elliot will beat my ass. He will beat me up.
Well, first Parker, then Elliot.
Of course.
Well, I don't think Parker actually understands the concept. Like, it's just not something she thinks about. So no, she would
Yeah.
actually get like pissed.
I mean, there was an episode where she
Pilot. And
stripped
it was the
and
pilot.
both boys turn away. They're like, nope.
See nothing.
Yeah.
That was
So
the
I don't
pilot.
think she really understands. And again, that's kind of like the Asperger syndrome, kind of autism.
Yeah, the
That
autism.
that's her autistic self coming full force of like, I don't understand social norms, so I'm just gonna disrobe right here in front of people, and it's hilarious. And I love how awkward Albus got having to like, oh, pretend I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I
Kind of,
love that. It's so freaking hilarious.
yeah. So now, moving on a bit. Once Sophie kind of gets like Worth sold on the idea, and of course, Harrison tells Nate, like, like, gotta admit, like, it's good to read a mark. And Nate's like, dude like, ran for, like, for 2 times and failed. I had to eat him up. Like, it wasn't that hard. But now Nate wants an out of prison. So back at the infirmary, Elliot kind of tells him like Billy showed him where the game maker was found dead, and it was a blind spot. And so I have other instances that's happened in camera blind spots. So Nate's thinking it's probably guards who set Billy up and killed the game makers. Except Hardison can't access the cameras because the system's too stupid. Essentially.
Yep.
And they're basically blind as they have the blueprints. We're like, yeah, we can't, like, we don't know what's been added since like these plans have been built, which means they got to go map it out old school.
Yeah.
So Nate and Elliot map out the prison from inside, while Hardison and Parker map it at the apartment. So they have like 3 separate maps going on right now, because you have Hardison's like digital map, you have Parker's physical map with the blueprints using dots and like symbols as like cameras, lasers, sensors, that kind of stuff. And then you have Nate, who just is using a chessboard.
Yep.
And Nate's like, I hope Sophie has better luck figuring out. Like, I hope Sophie has better luck with the judge. And then Parker's like, who's Sophie? And I was like, like, remember, like she said, like, we can't, like use her name.
That name. Yeah.
They can't use a real name. Parker's like, oh yeah, because Nate hasn't earned it yet.
I
So
like how sassy she got.
yeah, like she's not even thinking, then she's repeating like Sophie. So like she's trying to retrain her brain to call her Sophie instead of her real name. But yeah, so Sophie is able to get Worth to put campaign funds in a bank account, except he wants her in order to he wants her to match the funds basically, which means they got to use Nate's money. Because of course they do. And actually it does make sense later on when it's like everything comes together. But yeah, so to get a plan, you see Worth telling like one of the guards to basically like clean up everything inside the prison and get rid of Billy. We see the guards bring the cameras down and Harrison sets a meet, but everything kind of goes wrong at this point because Worth gets a call from the Italian and she tells him to check the visitor logs. Worth sees that it's Sophie who visited Nate and that Sophie's lying about who she is. So he leaves to go to the bank because Sophie calls him and is like, hey, we're going to have to go to the bank to do a transaction of this size. So Worth leaves to go to the bank. Guards go after Billy. Elliot saves them while Hardison also reports that the cameras are down. And Nate's like, oh, like it's go time.
Yep.
So this is all happening very quick. And Nate also starts setting up, like he fills the room up with steam and he sets up like blankets and that. And Parker uses the toy helicopter that Hardison was messing with earlier to draw all the guards up to the roof because she used this to make them think that like a helicopter is landing on the roof. So Worth goes to the bank, gets his money out of his account. Nate goes in the parking lot, and the guards think they see Billy and Nate leaving, so they all go out and they think it's in the van. What's funny? They open the van doors. It's not Billy. It's Parker and Hardison. Well, Hardison on his knees. Parker lower. And
I like how Parker pops up and looks at them like, really?
And you could hear in the background Something in Your Mouth by Nickelback.
That makes it even worse.
And I'm moving. And and of course, this is my secretary. Or secretary. Sure. She was, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry, really trying hard to not say what just popped in my head. Let's just say she was licking the dark chocolate off the beater, okay? All right, I'm done. I'm done. So
I
basically,
mean, there's an audio commentary where all this says she's just hurting something.
dark chocolate, sexy chocolate, or no,
Yes!
sexual chocolate,
Let's do chocolate! Yes!
sexual chocolate.
Oh my god!
Uh,
Is it hot in here? Nope, just my face.
yeah, Parker, like she gets up and it's like, I like when we pretend to kiss. Harrison says that, sorry, and then Parker's like, pretend. That's why it's Harrison's like, hey. So, and it was, oh God, what's happening right now? But what's funny is Harrison's like, hey. Because,
Oh man.
mm,
That had me like cackling of like, oh, no, really? That's where we're going with this? Really?
I mean, we do know they like pretzels. So maybe you just wanted the chocolate covered pretzel.
That made it
I'm sorry.
worse.
It's right there. It was right
Nope. I'm not. Nope. Damn
there.
you.
All right. All right. I'm
Ugh.
so of course then Worth goes back to the prison. It's like, what? Like, and like the control room area. It's like, what is happening? Because they called lockdown too. That's what started all this. They called lockdown. So then Bonanno comes in. So he survived the shooting.
Yay!
Yep. So we see Bonanno is back, and
And let me
he
just tell you. Let me just tell you. When he walks in, my jaw hit the floor. I was like,
they like showed it to like
yeah,
audiences. They all were like cheering.
yeah. But at first, all we hear is his footsteps, and
Yeah. Hey.
then we see feet, and then it goes up.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I love that camera shot.
Yeah. So Bonanno's investigating because like Nate escaped, and so they set it up to where Worth. They made it look like Worth basically organized the breakout because it looks suspicious that Worth went to the bank while his jail was in lockdown. And also, he took money that came from Nate's bank account.
Yep.
And then,
He's like, this is a little fishy.
what's funny is, but I was like, it just so happened that I got a bunch of files on my desk about some corrupt judges. So he arrests Worth and also one of the guards.
And this guard tries to run away.
And
He
then
tries
Bernard
to.
picks up the kid. He's like, where do you think you're going?
He's like, no. He's like, you stay here.
Yeah, I just find it funny that Banana Words, like it was like, oh, what a coinky dink. I just so happened to get files that help me solve a case. What a coinky dink. Yeah, so everyone's basically meeting back at the apartment and they're GTFOing.
Yeah.
Like they got plane tickets, they're GTFOing. Except when they open the door, there's goons with guns. It's funny. It's like LA Charges and Nate like holds back. Like, nope.
Like, no, not worth it.
And then the Italian walks down the stairs.
Yep.
And then so Nate and the Italian are talking at the bar. And Nate reveals that he had suspected all along that there was a third party at play. Because again, it was a
too easy.
well, that and also it was coincidence that he ended up in a prison run by a corrupt warden.
Yep.
Like
And he blatantly just asks her, What do you want? You want something.
Yeah,
What is it?
and yeah, so Nate knows because Nate knows this is an audition, basically, and the Italian wants Nate to take down Damien Moreau. And what's funny is then the camera goes to the team, and they're like, "Moreau, no one touches Moreau." They're like
And
all
then,
off.
and then, and then, my focus was on Elliot's face, and his face went from kind of neutral to I'm gonna kill him.
Well, then we also find out more about Moreau. And basically, he's like this ultimate financier or he's basically the money man for like
Yeah.
all these criminals. And uh,
And then she kind of warns him, is like, if if you were jailed in Rome, if you try to flee and you go to like to Rome or whatever,
and
your
like
team, you and your team would die. Basically, she threatened him like that with death.
yeah, because she's basically saying like, yeah, you have 6 months to take down Moreau. I'll wipe everyone's records clean, and if you don't, yeah, basically she threatens him. And what's funny is Nate comes around the bar, sets his glass down, and is like, "Now that you should not have done."
Yep. And oh,
Yeah, so basically the Italians blackmailing him,
yeah,
and they're all pissed off about that.
of course. Instead of asking politely, "Hey, can you help me out with this?" She decides to try to blackmail Nathan forward, and that's not gonna end well. I just
No,
know it.
of course, Elliot is the one he kind of stammers about it. It's like you can't go straight at a guy like Moreau.
And they're all kind of like,
And
"How do you do this?"
well, which to be actually no, we're gonna get into that in a minute. But yeah, so Nate's basically the plan is they'll take on jobs like they would any other time, except they're just gonna cater some of the jobs so that they can take down Moreau.
Yep, they're basically what he says. We're gonna direct the jobs that we take to kind of lead us to Moreau a little
Yeah,
bit more. So
yeah,
he's like, "Yeah, we're not." He even says, "We're not gonna go straight at him because that's gonna be stupid. But we're gonna go about this in a sneaky way. We're gonna go around him to get him. We're gonna take down the people around him first. Basically, is what he's saying to get to him,
yeah.
and then
So
we're gonna."
yeah, but I mean, they're like happy to be back in the game, and they all leave except for Sophie because, of course, Nate starts drinking again.
Yep.
And Nate tries to play it off like, oh, he's fine. Like, I tried being a drunk, honest man and a sober thief. So now I'm going to try being a drunk thief. And it's funny. And then Nate asks Sophie, is like, what, you going to save me? And Sophie drinks from his drink, sets it down, and is like, you're a thief now. You can save yourself.
She
And
basically, that was her basically saying, "Screw you, I'm done trying to save you."
yeah, that was her basically saying, fuck you. You're a grown man and you need
Save
to solve
yourself.
your issues instead of using me to solve your issues.
Yep. It's like, get your own life jacket.
It's
Basically, what that was.
like, but yes, and then Nate fails to guess her name because he's just spouting off like female names.
As she's walking away. But as
It,
she turns, she smirks.
yeah,
She smirks and then just walks off.
what's funny is like there's a crack video out there where it shows it's that scene. It like she started name, and then every time Sophie looks at Nate, it's like, that's not my name. And she walks up more turns again, that's not my name. Walks in, that's not my name. That's not my name.
I love that. I loved how he just kept blurting out random names, and I'm just like, dude, you're never gonna guess it.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
that,
gonna happen.
yeah, but that's actually the
The end of the episode.
right there. So some kind of sorry, I don't remember what next episode was, but anyways, as is a final note. So I'm excited to view or to analyze this season with the context that so all we kind of got a hint in this episode with Elliot, I think, stammering in order to like say like, hey, you can't go straight out of Gallic Moreau. The twist is that Elliot worked for Moreau.
So he kind of knows how he thinks and how he acts.
Yeah, so that's like the big twist that's
He
gonna happen.
can kind of, the way that I see it, he can kind of profile Moreau in a way that he can't.
Yes. And no,
And
this is
that scares the living shit out of Elliot. He's like, I don't want to have to do this again, but I will if I have to.
but see what's interesting though is Elliot, I think it was kind of like, well, it worked in Elliot's favor that like Moreau has a reputation regardless. And the way he worded what he said, you can't go straight at a guy like Moreau. It doesn't automatically signify there's that personal connection there because Elliot could easily pass it off as like just reputation, and
True.
also smart enough to know like they all know Moreau's reputation. It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to know like they can't go straight at Moreau.
Yep.
But it also works in Elliot's favor because then he has more time to plan behind the scenes on
Yeah.
how to basically save everyone.
From everything going sideways.
Yeah, and also from him having to reveal that he worked for Moreau. So I'm excited to keep going through like I'm looking forward to going through this season knowing that even though like I've done it before, it's nice to be able to like analyze it actually and like actually be looking for it.
True.
Yeah, so in case it kind of wasn't obvious, so the first season was about revenge. Second season was about family, and I think season 3, I think that it was about identity
Yep.
because you have each character kind of flashing back to their past. We'll see, like with the season coming up, you have Nate with uh his struggle to figure out like if he's a thief and like adjusting to that. You have and the third Carmonte job, which we'll see later when he confronts his father. You have Elliot dealing with his past. Are you stretching or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm stretching 'cause my hip locked up.
Oh, okay. Is a word for it? Is it what you doing? Is that, we got Parker also the boost job. We delve into her past,
Yep.
and you have Hardis. You have Hardison, and actually this next episode, it kind of like him his hacking roots.
So,
Have Sophie dealing with her past directly in the King George job.
yep.
So this season, like everybody's getting kind of shaken up.
Yeah, they're dealing with.
Why I love this season because
We see a little bit more of their backstory come to light and how they
starts making sense why.
interact with it and like how they deal with it.
Yeah, and we should expand on that when we get to each episode. But like when we get to the episodes that deal with those backstories. But for the main thing, I think the season's 3 theme is identity. I also love that Sophie is now putting Nate in his place, and is making him pay for like the shit he pulled like in the
previously. Like,
season.
just,
Um,
and
now
basically he's
for it.
reaping the consequences of his actions in this season a little bit.
Yeah, I honestly think this episode sets up the rest of the season perfectly because
It
it
does.
signals that like the stakes are more personal and everything's more personal this season,
Yep.
and we haven't really seen that yet. So I'm excited to get into that a bit more. And I also appreciate that the team is still giving Nate shit about everything. And like they're not cutting him loose this time as they did previously.
Yep. They're like, you screwed up, so we're gonna hold you accountable for your actions.
Yeah. Something a kind of question I have, and I'm curious about your answer for this. So again, knowing that the twist is that Elliot worked for Moreau. After Elliot left, what do we think happened? Like when Elliot left the apartment, what do we think happened?
I think he he got very angry. That's my guess. He got very pissed off, and honestly, I think he went and tried to pick a fight with somebody in a bar to
Mm, I
channel
could
out his anger
okay.
because he's like, I don't,
So
because
wait,
it was the reason why I say that is because you can see it in his eyes a little bit. He's a little bit scared of having to face his past of
yeah,
what he did. He's like, I try to move on from that, but at the same time, there's that soldier aspect of I have new loyalties and I don't want this to try to clash with that. So that's
yeah,
pissing him off a little bit. He's like, just when I start to fit in and I feel like I'm redeeming myself a little bit, washing my hands clean of that innocent blood that I took while working for a guy like Moreau. To have to face him again, it pisses him off, and so I think he probably went and started a bar fight or something.
yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah, my personal one is I wouldn't honestly be surprised if Elliot got drunk that night. I would be
Probably,
surprised if he actually tried to get
probably.
because he probably had a lot of shit come up. Probably and like hearing Murray's name, like probably all that shit came up. And
But you
I
can kind of see it in his eyes a little bit. There's a flash of what I would call absolute
yeah,
Peter Pan fear in his eyes of I don't want to have to do this again.
yeah, I also
I
wouldn't be
don't
surprised
want to have
though.
to
If,
relive that. Basically, is what it was.
yeah,
Or
I
it
wouldn't.
could have, or it could have been a little bit of PTSD as well from what he did with while working with Moreau.
Yeah, I also think Elliot probably once he probably sobered up after drinking himself to sleep. He probably made some phone calls to people he probably never wanted to contact again so that he
Sure.
could figure out where Moreau is, what he's doing. Because I feel like his first priority would be to like protect the team.
Yeah. And from like what
And
we
protect
figured out,
himself.
yeah, and what we figure out in later episodes, he's like, oh yeah, I always keep a tab on Moreau, so I kind of have an idea of where he's at.
Big Bang Job is when he says that.
Yeah,
Like, when
yeah,
to
for reasons we have yet to understand at this point. But I get it. That's a trauma response. He went from being caught off guard when he was working for Moreau and doing these very bad things to a trauma response of hypervigilance of I want to be prepared for the next time that I meet this man.
so
So I'm
that
not
I make a plan
I can yeah, I can react accordingly
because
and
I
not get my
fully
butt kicked.
believe, like, like, at this point, he's fully planning on murdering Moreau.
Or beating the absolute crap out of him within an inch of his life, probably. One of the two. Whichever. It
I'm leaning
works.
towards murdering Moreau, but I see your point. The point is he's
I think that was the old Elliot. Old Elliot would have killed Moreau, period.
no,
But I think new Elliot would beat him within an inch of his life and then say, "Don't ever do what you
well,
did to me to somebody else."
I mean,
Or
that's kind of
I'm going to hurt you. Basically, is what my brain went to. Is like he's reformed himself enough that he's got enough restraint that he wouldn't revert back to his killy days of like wanting to kill someone.
yeah.
He would hurt Moreau
No, yeah.
physically, but also psychologically mess him up a little bit just to get back at him for what he did to him.
Yeah, because also he wants to protect the team, and right now he knows, like, the best way to protect the team and is to right now keep tabs on Moreau. But I think
Yep.
he's also trying to figure out a way to take out Moreau without alerting the team that, like,
It happened. Or I think he wants to do it in a way that's not going to cause too big of a ripple effect.
way.
I think it's not, he wants to be proactive about it, but at the same time, he doesn't want to cause that big of a ripple effect that it's going to hurt the team and or himself.
Yeah, because, like, right now this is like
He's
a
worried about the ripple effect,
this is a
basically.
time about to go off, and Elliot's trying to contain the blast radius.
Yep.
Except
Exactly.
he can't reveal except he can't reveal that he's trying to contain the blast radius.
He wants to be more subtle about it, but
Yeah,
as
but
we later find out, that doesn't work. It doesn't
it does
work.
it doesn't
It
work the
sadly
way,
does not work.
and we'll also get the consequences of that too. We'll get
Yeah, and I like how this teased up the next episode a little bit of like, okay, so who's this Merle guy? How does Elliot know him, and why is Elliot acting the way that he is?
yeah, and we'll see how, like, that goes on. But do you have anything else you want to add for Jailhouse Job?
Nope, I really enjoyed getting to see Alice's brother on screen,
Yes,
and he's got the acting chops too, just like his brother.
does. I think Edwin's done other stuff with all this. I just can't remember.
He was in an episode of Castle. Both of them were.
I
They were on there as twins.
I didn't know that.
Um, it's hilarious. It's freaking funny. Um, and then like a CSI Miami episode with Edwin. I looked him up, and there's a few shows that I've watched that he's been in, but I just didn't register that it was him.
Yeah, so I kind of don't have anything else to add. So, um, I guess we'll start winding down this episode. So, first, I'd like to thank our parent company, Navco.org. If you want to support the podcast, you can buy us a Ko-Fi or buy us a coffee at Ko-Fi, Films and Fandoms. If you want to go on our Discord, that is our Discord invite code. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram, FN Fandoms with Kaylee and Lex. Our podcast on Twitter, which is FN Fandoms, and on Facebook at Films and Fandoms. And you could go on my website, kayleesintellector.com. You could follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67 and on TikTok at MovieFan_67. You could follow Alex on Instagram at Alex_the_Alleycat. And on Twitter and TikTok under Alex the Alley Cat. And you can go support our friends over at My Filmworks, see what kind of cool stuff they got going on. Because trust me, it's some cool stuff. So
You finally added my TikTok.
I always had your TikTok on there.
Last episode, it wasn't on there.
Was it not? I thought it was. Was it?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
fine.
I didn't really, I thought it was on there. But yeah, so
Too many of the things to remember, but
the
the next
things.
episode's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so next episode is going to be it'll be season 3, episode 2, the reunion job. So we'll be going back to high school. Yeah,
So, that's going to be a fun one.
it is going to be a fun one. So we'll see you guys for the reunion job.